Hello, hello. It is Erica with Holy Rustic, and we are here today to paint your Tier Trade Club box. So our Tier Trade Kit Club box is one of our monthly subscription boxes, and this month's is all Easter themed. So we're going to paint it together today. So come in and say hey, let me know how your day is going, and let's get painting. I am going to switch my cameras around so you can see what is on our table. And we have our tier tray kit here. So tier tray kits are exclusive to that box. You can't get them just anywhere on the website. They are only for the members of the Tier Trade Club. And this month's kit is a super cute little Easter set. And I just love it. So cute. All right, so I'm just putting a few pieces over there on the tape, and we'll get started. Inside your kit, you're going to have a little mini easel. I don't paint these. I leave them just the wood color, but they just slide together like so. And you've got a little easel that you can use to set your pieces on. You have these two pieces, which are going to be the base for your little 3-tier sign that says Hop, Easter, and then Carrot Patch. These will just get glued together, and then we'll paint that bottom one. We'll just paint it black. We'll just go ahead and do that real quick. There are lots of ways that you can tackle a tiered trade kit. Sometimes tiered trade kits can be a little overwhelming because there are lots of little pieces. So I would suggest just pick a sign and start with it if you're not sure where to begin. A lot of times that's a great way to get started. And then that way, you know, you can just do one little section at a time, and you don't have to worry about, okay, I have to paint all of these pieces. You can also look at your inspiration photo and then paint, you know, everything that's white, paint everything that's pink, and kind of tackle it that way too. So it's really whatever your preference is. There's no rules here. You do what works for you. I'm going to start with our little carrot sign. And we're going to base coat the back of it in white. Let's tip you up just a smidge. I tend to work like right here on the edge of my table, and I have to remember that sometimes when I do that, then I'm not in the camera. A little more white. It's a very loud truck. All right, so we're just base coating this in white. I'm not worried about those edge lines. They're going to show through underneath of my paint, and they're really just there to give us just kind of this like shiplap look anyway. So we'll just paint that. And give it a quick dry. We're also going to do this Happy Easter sign in that same white. So we'll just set that to the side and paint this up white as well while we're painting white. I don't paint the edges of our pieces. They are laser burned. They have this nice black edge on them. So I try not to get paint over the edge and just leave it like that because I feel like it gives it a nice finished look. You're more than welcome to do whatever you prefer. It's your kit. Method to my madness here. You could always brush or take a baby wipe and wipe it if you get a bunch of paint over the edge, but I don't worry about it. Okay, try that. Anytime you're using any color like white or yellow, you're going to need a couple coats. It's just the nature of that paint. So we'll do a second coat of white here. inside your tiered tray box, you're going to get all your pieces. You're going to have your paint kit, so you can paint this just like the inspiration photo. You're going to have your inspiration photo with some very basic directions and a coupon code that you can use on any of the tiered tray items in our shop on our website. So it's like your little bonus. You're going to have a tube of glue and a makeup sponge, which I will show you how we use that makeup sponge to paint some of the small pieces, and it just makes it a little bit easier to paint the words and things and not get them all messed up. All right, I'm going to do one more coat on this piece here. I think I grabbed some brown or something with my first brush stroke, or my brush wasn't very clean, so that's a little, well, there's some pink. My white was not as white as I wanted it to be, so we're going to go back over it one more time. All right, so those are our two big white pieces. We'll just set them over to the side and let them dry. Figured since I gave that one a third coat, I should just go ahead and do a third coat on this one. Okay, set those over there and let them dry. Let's do this little Easter tag while we're painting the bigger pieces. We'll just go ahead and do him as well. I'm going to do this one in a lighter pink, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white and a little bit of my pink and paint this up. I'm using the colors that I have here on my plate from some other projects that I've been painting up today, but you'll have all the exact in mix it. Okay, good. Quick dry, and we'll give it a second coat. I was going to try and turn on Do Not Disturb, and I can't. I don't think I can do it with the angle that my phone's at, so we'll just hope that we're good. All right, second coat of pink here on this little tag. Set that to the side. Okay, let's do these pieces for the hop, Easter, and carrot patch. I think I want to do maybe a pink, a blue, and a green. So I'm gonna do the Easter in the pink, because it's gonna go in the middle. I don't have to worry about painting this base because it's not going to show. It's just there to hold these pieces together. Dry. And a second coat. Oh, I picked up teal. All right, so my pink's going to be a little more purpley. That's okay. I just call that a happy little accident. It's fine. Kind of like that color. All right, let's do this one in green. So we're going to rinse that brush out really well and wipe it off on our towel. I just use old towels that we have, and I kind of cut them into smaller, more manageable pieces, and I use that to clean my brushes on. So if you're wondering, I'm not wiping this on my jeans. I have a towel down here on my lap, and I use that to clean my brushes. All right, so I'm going to use this eucalyptus green, kind of like this green. We're going to do the carrot patch piece. While I've got this green, I'll just go ahead and do these little tops of the carrots. So it's on my brush. Perfect. And then we're going to do this one in a blue, which I do not have it out. So let's grab this blue. Okay. And we'll do this top piece that says top in this light blue. It's a very nice springy blue. Quick dry of those, and we'll come back with a second coat. And then that should be all of our bigger pieces, so then we can start working on our smaller pieces. So like I said, try not to get overwhelmed when you open the box because there are a lot of pieces, but if you just start, just kind of pick a spot and start painting and it'll all come together in the end. You'll have everything done before you know it. These don't take very long to do, so just enjoy the process and just start painting somewhere. It'll be fun. Okay, let's work on this little tag. We're going to do our egg for the little tag here. So it's this egg piece, and then it has 3 little rings that go on here, and then this little hole that goes at the top. And I'm going to do this egg in purple and blue, I think. So we're going to grab some of our purple. I'm going to base the egg in the purple. And the great thing about these kits is you can do whatever you like. So if you're like, I do not like pink, I don't like purple, I'm not a green person, whatever, you switch it up and make it your own however you want to paint it. That is the beauty of the kit. You don't have to do exactly what I do. You can do your own thing. Okay. Just give that a quick second coat. Okay, this little sign goes on our Happy Easter, and I want to paint each one of these little pennants a different color. So as we are painting all the things, I'm going to go ahead and do like that one in purple. All right, I think that is good for that. So let's grab some tape here. Maybe not that piece. So this is just painter's tape. I fold down the ends and then I can stick it to my table, and it just keeps my pieces from bouncing all over while I'm trying to paint them. It keeps my hands just a little bit cleaner and just makes it a little bit easier to paint pieces. So we're going to do this in blue. We're going to do this Easter that goes on here in blue as well. And we're actually going to do both Easters. And this sign that says Carrot Patch. And boop. He'll be okay. So we're going to do all this in blue. I'm going to use the makeup sponge to paint these. And I'm going to grab my blue and come in. I'm going to do this. We have a couple little Easter eggs as well, so I'm going to do that one in blue. There we go. And we'll do all these. These are for our egg. And then both of our Easters. So you do need to watch when you're putting your pieces together here in a bit, because these 2 Easters are 2 different fonts, and so you need to match them up with the ones. One goes on the Happy Easter sign, this square, and one goes on the 3-tiered sign. And you'll be able to see when you put them down which one matches which, but just be aware that they're different fonts, and so they do fit on different signs. So you want to make sure you're grabbing the right one when you go to glue them down. I'd say I pulled about 10 of these off the laser before I realized that they were actually 2 different fonts. It didn't matter because they were going in the right places. I just didn't, it did not compute in my brain at the time. Okay, so I've got Easter, Easter, and those 3 pieces. I'm going to do this little piece that says Carrot Patch as well with my makeup sponge. And this pretty blue color. Okay, so there are all of those. What color do I want to do? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to do the back of the egg banner piece as well with that blue. The one that the little chick sits on. We're going to make that blue as well. I really like this blue. It's a nice shade. It's very springy. Give everything a quick dry and we'll come in with a second coat. It's always better to do thin coats than really, really thick coats. You don't have to put all the paint on there at one time. The thin coats will dry very quickly and you'll really easily be able to come in and start putting on a second coat of paint. Okay, so that should be all of that. Let's grab another piece of tape. And we're going to do, I feel like this needs another coat of blue. While we've got the blue, let's just go ahead. It's just looking a little streaky there. Okay, he's better. Let's do one of these little pennants in that blue as well. Okay. Let's do our carrot patch. So that's going on this green piece. So I'm going to make it stick down. I'm going to make it pink. So we're going to just clip that sponge and we'll be able to dip into our pink. And we can do pink. I need to do anything else in pink while I've got that. Let's do this happy. It's already up there, so we'll just go ahead and paint it on that tape. And we'll do this other little Easter egg, tiny little baby egg as well. Okay, we need to move into orange. So we'll clip that sponge and pick up orange. We're going to do these little baby carrots. There are 2 of them. And we're going to do these carrots. Oops. Both of these. And this whole set here as well. Move you over there. Out of the way. A little bit more orange. Okay. Come back with a second coat. So like I said, that first coat dries really quickly when you're using thinner coats. You don't even really have to worry about drying it. Okay. Give that a quick dry. Touch these one more time here. And they look pretty good. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of white with my orange. And I'm going to come to the right side of each one of these carrots and just tap a little bit of that white in with the orange. And it looks kind of silly right there, but what I'm going to do is come back with just the orange and just kind of blend it a little bit. I'm just going over wherever I hit that highlight with a little bit of the original orange color, just so I have just a smidge of a highlight on each one of these little carrots. Nothing crazy, just barely highlighting each one of them. It looks a little strange on the camera, but I promise you it looks better in real life. Okay, that's a little better. So the trick for the highlights is you just have to just keep working with it until you get it where you like it. A lot of times the problem is people stop too soon when they're highlighting and shadowing things, and they're just like one step away from blending it to where it looks really good. So it's just a dance between the two colors, the lighter and the darker, to get it right. Just put a little highlight on those guys as well. Okay. Let's move that over out of the way. Oops. And we'll just touch those guys one more time. This hop, we'll do that, and it's going on this blue one, and we've got pink. We did blue, so I guess the hop needs to be green. Boop. I have this little piece of sponge from earlier that has green on it. I'm just going to use that. And paint this green. And we need to do the tops of our carrots as well. I'll do those with a brush. Let's do those with a brush. Where are you at? Maybe this one. Just paint those in. So I am being a little cautious to be sure I don't push a bunch of paint down in the little holes where the string is going to go. And then there's our little carrots. Set those over there, and we'll just dab a tiny bit of green on these guys as well. Just a smidge. Okay, what do we have left? The chick, the bunnies, and the rest of that banner. So what colors do I want to do on that banner? Let's do a pink next to the blue. And then we'll do a green, I guess. And I'm going to go across the top with black. Okay. And while we've got that black, we're going to paint both of these little bunny glasses with black as well. All right. we need a clean sponge. So we'll just clip this guy. We're going to grab white and do the little egg for our chick. Then I was trying to decide if I want to do both of these bunnies in white or if I want to make one brown. Decisions. I think I will make one brown. Maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to make them both white. We just have 2 white bunnies. I'm using this sponge, and each time I dip that sponge into the paint, you'll notice I'm kind of tapping over here on this side. That's to get a lot of the excess paint off, because what I don't want to do is come over here with a bunch of paint and push a bunch of paint into the etched lines, especially on these bunnies' faces. I don't want to lose all their little features like their whiskers and their mouth. Because I don't want to have to try to put those back on with a paint pen or a paintbrush. So by dipping into the paint and then coming over here and tapping on this side, that keeps me from having a whole bunch of paint on my sponge and then inadvertently pushing a bunch of paint into those etched lines. It keeps the etched lines nice and visible to where I don't have to worry then about seeing them as much. They're still there. I'm going to dry these one more time. We'll give them a 3rd coat because it is white. It tends to need multiple coats. But remember, we're just doing thin coats each time. And we're being very light-handed and very little bit of paint on that sponge, especially as we work our way across their little bunny faces so we don't push too much paint into those little crevices and lose all the details like the whiskers and the mouth and the nose and all that stuff. Okay, our little chick, we're going to go ahead and grab a little bit of yellow on that same sponge and do the little chick's face. Two coats of yellow for sure. Okay. And then there's some little details that I want to do on these guys. So I'm going to grab a tiny brush here, and we're going to do their little noses in a pink. Little bunny noses. And the middles of the ears. So if you have a shaky, just slow, you kind of find somewhere to set your hand down on your table, and that will help stabilize you a little bit. Or you could get you some paint pens and do this with paint pens. That would work really well also. And just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is handmade, and so part of the beauty is that it's not perfect. Right? These aren't printed. They're not mass produced. You made them, and so they don't have to be perfect. No one's looking that closely at them in the end. You're looking really closely at them right now because you're sitting right up on them and it's all you're looking at. But once you get everything put together, these little pieces don't matter as much. I'm going to grab a little bit of white with my pink. I want to give these guys some cute little cheeks. So a little bit of white and some pink. I'm just coming over underneath their eyes and just doing a little circle of pink there on their cheeks. That's extra, definitely not needed. And I just kind of take my finger and kind of touch where their cheeks are once they're done, and it just kind of rounds them out a little bit. Okay. The chick's beak, I think we'll do it in orange. Boop. And then we got all their little eyeballs. So we'll rinse that out, and we'll grab our black and do all the little eyes. You could use the handle of your paintbrush for these. That would work really well. Cute. Okay. I'm a little worried about our banner piece here, that this is too dark and like the carrots and stuff aren't going to show up. So I'm going to take a big brush and a little bit of white paint, and I'm just going to dry brush some white. So I don't want hardly any paint on my brush. And all I'm going to do, the brush is really wet. Okay, dry the brush, tiny bit of paint, wipe most of it off, and I'm just going to pull a little bit of white across this banner just to soften these colors a little bit so that our eggs and stuff kind of show up. Okay. All right, I think that's everything. Yeah, looks like we painted it all. All right, so we can start gluing. Where do we want to start? Let's work on this hop sign first. So we're going to glue these down. Listen, you were working just fine. Okay. All your kit's going to include a little tube of glue. You can use that to glue everything down with. It's an E6000, B7000 little craft glue type. I need you to know that it's not a quick dry glue, so you want to make sure you let everything lay flat for at least 24 hours so that your pieces don't move around on you. They seem like they're set in about 30-ish minutes. But if you leave them setting up for any amount of time, everything will move, and that would be sad. So don't do that. Okay. Let everything lay flat. It is going to dry clear. And you have a little bit of wiggle time. It's not a super glue, so you have some time where you can move the pieces around. I always just say you're going to put on nice little thin coats of glue. We don't want big gobs of glue. Just a dot, not a lot, okay? Because we don't want a whole bunch of glue seeping out. Even if it does dry clear, we don't want it to be messy. So just a little bit of glue will do you. It's going to hold really well, I promise. I'm just putting glue down where these etched lines are so that I can put all my pieces on. You can either put the glue where the etched lines are, or you can put the glue directly on the back of the letters, whatever you prefer. There's really no right or wrong way to do that. Okay. Just make sure everything is where it's supposed to be because it's moving around on me. And this is where I told you need to make sure you grab the correct font of Easter. So this one for this sign is a little bit more script than the other one. Okay, so there's that. And then we've got our carrot patch. All my tape is going everywhere. Carrot patch. I'm not going to do a ton of highlighting and stuff on this one. I don't feel like it needs it. Sometimes these kits, they have enough going on their own. So don't feel like this needs a whole lot extra. Because look how cute that looks just by itself. So cute. All right. Make sure everything is lined up and setting on there correctly. And we'll set that over to the side to dry. Let's do our carrot patch sign. So we've got this little bunch of carrots that are going to go on here. And they have these little greenery pieces. Which just fit inside the carrots. Just like that. Cute. And then they get this little carrot patch sash, I guess is what this is. Anyway, isn't that cute? Okay, set that to the side. We'll do our little happy Easter sign. So we've got this little banner that goes across it, like so. And then that chunkier font of the word Easter. And if you don't have a tiered tray, or maybe you have accumulated a lot of tiered tray kits, these tiered tray kits work really well for lots of different things. Like you could just set them on a mantle or a shelf, in a little coffee nook area or a little coffee bar area. You could use them as attachments on like a wreath. So there's lots of different ways that you can use the pieces. If you're like, I already have an Easter tiered tray kit from last year, I don't really need another one. There's lots of ways to use these around your home without them necessarily being on a tiered tray. Okay, there's that. I had some purple on my fingers, I guess, and I touched that, so I'm just gonna brush that with a little bit of white. And then this little banner gets the little baby carrots and the little baby eggs. These are the smallest pieces in this kit here. So we'll just set them down like so. Cute. Love it. So cute. I love this like softer pastel-y colors that I've got going on. All right, we're gonna do this little tag. So it gets this little purple circle and the egg. And then it's going to get the stripes for the egg. See how once you get everything painted, it really just comes together fairly easily, even though it is a little, I've got these backwards, even though it is a little overwhelming when you first open the kit and you're like, there's so many little pieces. Just grab you some tape and start setting your pieces, kind of separating everything out and setting your pieces down. And then just pick a place and start painting it. It'll all come together, I promise. That is the biggest thing that when I see people painting these kits, they get a little overwhelmed and they're like, I don't know where to start. Just wherever. There's no rules. You start whatever makes sense in your brain today. Start there. It's fine. And then someone told me the other day they really like to stretch the kits out and make them last longer. You can do that too. That's totally fine. So it's up to you. However you want to tackle it. You know, it's like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? How do you paint a tiered tray kit one piece at a time? Same thing. The goal is that this is to be fun and enjoyable, not stressful. So don't stress yourself out with it. Okay. You could stretch it out for like the whole month. You could paint one little piece of sign at a time and really take your time and do all kinds of shadows and highlights and little dots, and or you can paint the whole thing in, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's up to you how you want to tackle that beast. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's see what we got here. So here's our little bunnies with the glasses and the little chick. And then we're going to put these little carrots. This is going to be a banner. So you'll string these pieces on a piece of jute. And you'll have a cute little banner to put across. You've got this little tag. And you'll just put a little piece of jute on this end of this tag. Maybe we'll do some ribbon. We'll give you something to stick through this little hole here. And then we've got our little happy Easter sign, our little carrot patch sign, and then this little hop Easter carrot patch. So this has this little piece hanging off. It's going to go inside of here, like so, to help it stand up. So cute. I love it. And then, of course, you have your little mini easel that you can use with any of your pieces, whichever ones you prefer. So if you paint your tier tray kit, I would love to see yours finished. Post a picture in the comments or drop us an email at info@holyrustic.com and send me a picture of your kit, because I really love seeing everyone's. I love how these soft pastels really came together with this kit. Was not necessarily my intention when I started, but I really have this nice little soft vibe going on with the greens and the blues, so it turned out really cute, I think. But I'd love to see yours and see how you finished it, see it on your tier tray, and I hope that you enjoy painting this month's Tier Tray Club box. If you're not already a member of the Tier Tray Club and you would like to learn more, you can visit our website at holyrustic.com, click on subscriptions, and then Tier Tray Kit or Tier Tray Club, and you'll find all the details about the Tier Tray Club and how you can join. There is no commitment. You can cancel at any time. And you get a box delivered to your door every single month. So I hope y'all are having a fabulous day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye, y'all.